Hi everyone, welcome back to another interview here at the Business Exit Summit. And I'm delighted to be sitting with Sheilah Hogan Cassie. She's an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year winner and now a certified EOS implementer. She's also helping other entrepreneurs achieve their own successful exits. And Sheilah just delivered an incredible keynote yesterday on the topic of your toolkit to operational excellence. Sheilah, thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure. It's been amazing.
Absolutely. Now, Sheilah, you've had this incredible journey from building and scaling a multinational talent agency in New York, surviving the 2008 financial crisis, to successfully exiting after almost 10 years. And now you're helping other entrepreneurs do the same thing. So what was that pivotal moment when you actually realized that something valuable to share with the business owners?
So moving here from America, specifically New York City, after selling my business, I knew that I wasn't going to start a business right away. I really needed to understand the culture here, the business landscape, just the different nuances. It was, being regional is definitely something you need to take in consideration before just starting a business. So I started running other people's businesses for them. So I ran a customer experience agency for about 7 years. And while the husband and wife co-founders went off to Singapore to break into Asia. And it was a great way for me to just be right on the front lines of working with large enterprise companies and small boutique companies. We were a boutique agency ourselves. We only had 15 people in the business. And yet we were working with very large entities. So for me, during that time, I started to realize, it came to my attention, the statistic that 97% of businesses in Australia were small to medium-sized business operating with less than 20 employees. And I thought, this is crazy. And the opportunity here is actually to help them, bring to them my life experience, but also a level of business leadership management acumen. And because that's not something that most small to medium-sized businesses have on board. They're just really good at what they do, so they decided to start a business. So when I realized that statistic, I thought they just need something, but it needed to be simple. So with my lived experience, I know what it's like not to be able to make payroll, or does anyone want to buy this business? Is it worth anything? Who's going to tell me that? I decided that that's what is needed, and I'd love to be that person. So that's when I decided to buy a franchise, an EOS franchise from the States, and just start helping small to medium-sized businesses and set them free.
Amazing. That's really wonderful. And when you talked about challenges, that's really fascinating, because it sounds like that you learned some really hard lessons along the way. Now, you've made this massive life change in 2010, moving your entire family from New York to Australia. So that definitely requires some courage. So how did that international perspective actually influence how you now help businesses scale and prepare for exit?
I think knowing, like I said, the different nuances, you really have to get to know a business. You really have to be, and the businesses need to be crystal clear on what they offer. And I think being internationally, running business, expanding internationally, it's one of those things that you have to get your fundamentals right first. So when we started, with my first business, when we started our business, we opened 5 locations. And with each one, we had to get more and more disciplined with the tools, the resources, the processes, because you're remote. You can't manage a team and you can't micromanage them from afar. So we knew before we went overseas internationally that we had to get that business operating, the consistency, the quality, the training, the management, the visibility. We had to lock that down before we even thought about expanding to another country and another culture. So that's the one thing, and you have to get your fundamentals right. You have to, how are you hiring? How are you performance managing? What are your dashboards? What information are you keeping visible? Things like that. So to me, operationally, you have to get your house in order before you then just replicate it in another region or internationally.
Absolutely, that completely makes sense. Now that you're working with EOS, for our audience, can you walk us into a business? Like, what are the immediate red flags that tell you that this company isn't ready for growth or exit, or like even when the financials might look decent on the paper?
Yeah. Being here, it's like being with my people, because everyone is saying, if you're even thinking about selling or exiting your business, you better have already made yourself as a founder redundant. And I know that's hard for people to say, but the soft way of saying that is if you're the only one that knows how to do everything or the only one that can fix things, then you're a liability. You're actually holding your business back, weighing it down, and devaluing it. And that's hard. I don't really say it that way, but I'm glad other people here and speakers and panelists are talking about it. But the first thing I look for is, one, do you even know, people know what they're selling their products and services for, and they know what their margins are, but do they know their net profit? Like, at the end of the day, are you still driving the same car because after payroll, there's nothing left in the bank? Like, that's the first thing I see is how, one, do you know your profitability after everything, your net profit? And if you do, what are we doing about it? Do you have a plan? Do you know what's bleeding you? What is taking up all of that margin that you're working so hard? So I look for indications that people are working really hard but not smart, and then I know I can add value. So, and I see that all the time. There are people that know their revenue, they know their margins on their products, but they have no idea, if they don't have any profit at the end of the day, or it's a very small margin, what is holding that back. I call them profit heroes and profit hogs. And do you know who they are, in your business? That's one place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Key points. Now, you mentioned in your keynote yesterday about having a toolkit for operational excellence. So for someone watching this who's thinking about the exit strategy, let's say in the next 2 to 3 years, what's the one tool that they should implement first?
So for me, I would say, listen, they all work very cohesively, but even if you just have that scorecard, which is some visibility on what are the most important things that should be happening in the business, or to keep a grip on your business across the whole business. So when you go on holidays, you maybe have that one piece of paper with 10 to 15 lines on it that are telling you, is everybody on track in sales? Is everyone on track on marketing? Is everyone on track in delivery? And is everything on track in finance? Like, if you just even think about those four traditional functions in a business, how is it that you've got visibility on if they're on track or off track across those four, even if you just had 3 performance metrics each, and just keep an eye on that. So that's what we call a scorecard, which is keeping a grip on the business, understanding if it's on track, and if it's off track, do we know how to fix it? Are we having that conversation? Yeah. So people love the scorecard. They love it. The second favorite is the level 10 meetings, because people spend a lot of time in meetings, sometimes too much time in meetings. And the level 10 meeting agenda gives you a really strict agenda, time-bound way to meet, to get the most productivity out of your time together, and to replace the need to have meetings off the back of the meetings, right?
Absolutely.
So once you have your scorecard, the next best thing is the level 10 agenda. All of my clients say it's transformed the way they are spending their time, using their time, and breaking through issues.
Amazing.
In the business.
That's truly wonderful. Thanks for those tips.
Gets me very excited.
Now, Sheilah, having been through your own exit and now helping others, what's the biggest misconception that business owners have about the exit process that you find yourself correcting over and over again?
Well, first and foremost, that your business is more valuable than it actually is. You're really close to your business. You know its value. You love your people. You know the success. So the first thing they say is, I want to get 50 times multiple. And I go, that's really great. But what you need to focus on is to get to know what the 5 or 10 things that when people are looking to acquire a business, what are they looking for? And can you give that information easily to them, and does it sound compelling? So sometimes your owner or founder is probably the last person you want to put in front of buyers or investors, because they're probably a little bit biased and or don't necessarily have all of the answers to the questions that investors or buyers want to know. So it's probably more the value they think the business is worth versus the information buyers and investors are looking to understand about your business. So that might be the first thing. Is your house in order enough to say, what is your plan for the next 3 years? What's your most valuable product? What's your pricing strategy? These are bigger conversations to be had.
Absolutely.
And some of the small to medium-sized businesses just haven't got that level of maturity or understanding of how to have those conversations that best represent their business. So sometimes it's better to have someone help you with that. An advisor or a coach like myself. To prepare you for those conversations.
Yeah, definitely. Because now we have the help available as compared to like a few years ago when let's say there weren't as many resources available. So definitely key points that you've shared there. Now, Sheilah, before we wrap up this interview, we like the Wholesale Investor team is proud to have EOS as one of our sponsors for the Business Exit Summit. So we love to know what's your experience been, being here today.
So this is our first time. It's my second time attending a Wholesale Investor event, but it's the first time sponsoring, and just so impressed. So impressed. I think that everything that's been communicated about the event has lived up to its promises. I think it's been very clear what the content and the speakers are going to be talking about. So I think it's attracted all the right kind of people. And I think I see them taking notes and taking photos. So I know that you've identified the information and the resources that I think a lot of people are looking for at this stage as a business owner. And it speaks to the ones that are thinking about it and don't know where to begin or who to talk to or where these resources are that are available. So I'm blown away at the quality and the caliber of the speakers, as well as the content and the workbook and all the information that's available to the attendees, not only today and yesterday, but before, leading up to it, and already what I know is coming afterwards. So just thrilled, so pleased we were able to be part of it.
Well, thank you, Sheilah. It's been truly wonderful to have you be a part of the Business X Summit. Now, before we wrap up, one last question. So you've been here for the entire 2 days. So can you share any key takeaways from all the different sessions that you have attended for our audience?
So many. I think what to do is like I said in the beginning, is make sure you start figuring out how to take yourself out of the everyday business. As a founder and an owner, people don't want the fact that you're in every part of the business. They want to make sure that you've hired people, trained people, created an understanding of how to do things in your business without you. So I think it's a number one message. And if you haven't started that, start now. Even if you don't want to sell in the next 3, 5, or ever, just by doing that, you're preparing your business not only to scale, but also to sell quite well. Number 2, AI, get on that train. Like I was just in there and I just I couldn't take notes fast enough because that train is real and it's moving at the speed of light. So we need to get on it. AI. I also think there's 100 ways to sell your business. And, whether it's private equity or it's becoming an entrepreneur through acquisitions or it's finding one buyer that is like-minded. You first need to figure out why you want to sell and who you think or under what conditions you want to sell. Because do you want to stay in the business? Do you want to be out in 2 years? Do you want to look after your employees and set up that program first? So I think it's really important before you even start thinking about it, or as you're thinking about it, to really have the answers for yourself and those that you're going to be engaging with is why do you want to sell and under what conditions are ideal for you? And then you'll figure out the best partner or the resource to pursue. Yeah.
Wow, truly
Yeah.
wonderful. You have wrapped it up in the perfect way possible. So thank you so much,
My
Sheilah.
pleasure.
And to our viewers, thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this conversation as insightful as I did. I look forward to seeing you all in our next interview. And thanks again, Sheilah, for being a part of the Business Exit Summit.
My pleasure. You're amazing.
Thank you.